Hello and welcome to my review of the Sisters of Battle Morvenn Vahl Abbess Sanctorum of the Adepta Sororitas model from Games Workshop. This model will cost you £34.50. I know, you can pretty much buy a Space Marine Predator tank for that price, and almost an Ultramarines Primarch. Now, I mean, this follows the same pattern as all of Games Workshop's other unique special characters in that you're only ever really going to buy one of them. So that's one of the main reasons why it's priced so high. Multiples of units like tanks and dreadnoughts and even troop boxes are priced in a way that they will sell many multiples over their lifetime. But anyway, let's get back into the review. So this single miniature comprises of 41 plastic components and you get a 60mm round base. Morvenn Vahl is the supreme commander of the Adepta Sororitas. She is one of the High Lords of Terror. She was so dissatisfied working her desk job from the safety of Holy Terror, exercising her command, that she departed almost as soon as she arrived. And she's been at the forefront of many crusades since, but this is of course the first time we've heard about her. She's not entombed, but she's wearing, I guess, she's encased in her relic paragon warsuit, the Purgator Mirabilis, and she carries an ancient spear gifted to her by the Adeptus Custodes. Vahl is a potent force multiplier, and we've got a model for her. She kind of came out of nowhere. In the Codex, Games Workshop dedicate 2 full pages about her. She was an aggressive, selfless Celestian superior of the Order of the Argent Shroud. She was recommended by Roboute Guilliman, and she was elevated to the status of High Lord of Terror. And then she declared herself the commander of the Ecclesiarch's Crusade. She leads by example on the battlefield, letting her deeds in service to the God Emperor speak for her. And we've got a model for her. Yeah, she kind of came out of nowhere. So it's exciting in a way. The primary stuff, it can be a bit boring, but I always find it quite exciting when Games Workshop bring out a new character in their lore, like a recent one. We're not talking sort of, you know, one of the older ones that have come back, even Roboute Guilliman, but we're talking about a brand new one within the kind of 12 minutes to midnight kind of era, within the first 100 years after the 41st millennium, when Roboute Guilliman is brought back. So she's got that at least. The thing is though, I'm not a big fan of these war suits anyway. It's kind of the arms and kind of the legs that I'm not a big fan of. I mean, still way better than the Invictus Warsuit, and I can see what they've done by generating these battle suits. But still, anyway, let's get some structure back to this review. I will look at the model in detail, tell you how easy it was to build her. Then I will go through some size comparisons with other Sisters of Battle units, and finally I'll go through all of the rules. What you see is kind of what you get. You do get a different head option. It can be seen here, so you get 2 different heads, but that is it. You get the same spear, you get the same heavy bolter, you get the same armour, the same pose. Would have been nice if you had a couple of poses like Ghazghkull has. You know, considering she is a High Lord of Terror, I mean, some would argue almost as powerful as Roboute, having that much power as a High Lord of Terror. The model went together all right, I think, in the unboxing. She's a 1 sprue model, as I've shown in the unboxing, so bear that in mind. It's 1 sprue for £34.50. But yeah, the spear is very nice. You can definitely see some Custodes influence there. You've got I don't know if many people see, but it's got an Aquila there, almost at the edge, and it's got some kind of like an inlay. The grip itself, it's got so much detail for plastic. She has got a lot of detail on her. Maybe not as much as Amalia Novena, still the most detailed plastic miniature in my opinion, but if you look really, really closely, let's enhance this, guys. I know the camera can do this, but you can just about make up these fleur-de-lis icon overlays, which is stunning. It's one of the most stunning parts of the whole model. And you know, then she's got some more inscriptions on a shoulder pauldron. It looks more like a Zelda symbol at the top there. And then another fleur-de-lis icon and a power plant on the heavy bolter with a nice purity seal. The heavy bolter rounds have got the fleur-de-lis icon kind of stamped into them, it looks like. It says Prioris, and it says Sanctorium, and it says Sanctorum Prioris. And then she's got Sororitas written on her chest plate. She's got I think she's got an Adeptus Sororitas or Angel or something on her greave, and then she's got a fleur-de-lis icon, and then the base is quite detailed actually. Plenty of skulls, plenty of spent shells, you know, part of a building there. Her helmet has like a laurel on it. She's flanked, the missile launchers flanked by two sisters statues with a load of fleur-de-lis icons there, and there are some on the vambraces. Well, there's only one vambrace there, but looks pretty cool. I do like that. I'm not a huge fan of sisters models in this kind of stoic pose. I'd much rather her be like leaping and, you know, about to stab something with that really long spear. And you know, just to put it in perspective, we might as well, it's kind of 1, 2.5 sisters in length. It's yeah, very long spear, but that's what she's using to smite down heretics. So that's the model. Went together pretty well. It took me longer than I expected though. Let's get into the size comparisons. So you might want to find out how she sizes up next to a normal Paragon warsuit, and here is such a model. She is taller, partly due to that scenic base. If we move this one up a little bit, they're kind of the same size. It's just she's got a lot of but she's got more fancy things happening on her shoulders, which make her, you know, bigger and more intimidating. But she goes quite well with the other Paragons. But again, it's just a shame that they've been sculpted in really terrible poses, in my opinion. Other Sisters of Battle comparisons, I did have a Sacrosanct there, so that's where she measures up with those. And then we've got a Canoness and a normal sister. So yeah, she's gonna stand pretty tall next to a lot of your sisters models. And also we've got a I think it's more like a Penitent Engine right there. These are, yeah, Penitent Engines are a little bit taller, but that's usually due to the posing. But that's where she stands next to those. She's going to be one of your like medium-sized minis, not as big as the tanks, but definitely similar kind of height to you know, the old school dreadnoughts, maybe even a Contemptor. With some Imperial models, which I know you want me to show you. You've got a Primaris, you've got a Slimarbo, and then you've got a normal Space Marine. So next to the old Space Marine, it is, yeah, he barely comes up to her waist, and a Primaris does come up to her waist. But yeah, if you're going against Space Marines, I don't know why you would be, but yeah, she's going to stand a fair bit taller than those, and even aggressors and Primaris captains and things. You know, she's quite intimidating, and especially if you're going to take her with some Imperial Guard. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for Morvenn Vahl, a High Lord of Terror. I think this is the first time we've ever had a High Lord of Terror in model form. In terms of power, probably something that's a higher power level than her in the 41st millennium right now for Imperium. For the Imperium would be something like, would be of course Rebute Gilliman, unless the Lion's Alarm Clock activates. So you'll find Morvenn Vahl in the HQ section of your brand new 9th edition codex. She is a power points cost of a 19, and this is the first time she appears in any codex. Her points cost is 265 points, which means she's, you know, more points than a Land Raider. and her stat line reads movement of 8 inches, weapon skill and ballistic skill both 2+, strength 5, toughness 5, 8 wounds, 5 attack, leadership 9 and a save of 2+. Now don't get me wrong, that is a very strong stat line. You know, if we were to compare it to a normal Paragon warsuit, the weapon skill and ballistic skill are obviously better. She's got double the wounds as one of them. She's got 2 more attacks than one of them, and her leadership is better. So she's definitely a special character in that regard. She's equipped with Fidelis, Paragon missile launcher, Lance of Illumination, and your army can only include one Morvenn Vahl model. So Fidelis is her custom named heavy bolter. It's a 36-inch range, heavy 3, strength 6, AP -1, damage 2 heavy bolter. The only difference compared to a normal heavy bolter is that its strength is 6 instead of 5. That's the only difference. The Paragon missile launcher is the juicy weapon though. You've got 2 types of missiles, Sanctorum missile or a Prioris missile. So Sanctorum is a 36-inch range, heavy 2d6, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1, blast. That's alright, you know, you could get 12 shots off, and she's going to be hitting on 2+ with that, and also its blast. The Prioris missile though is a heavy 2, strength 8, AP -2, damage d6. That's pretty nice, gives you something against heavily armoured units. The Lance of Illumination has 2 profiles. They're both melee. You've got the sweeping blow, which is the strength of the user, which is 5, AP -2, damage 1. Each time attack is made with this weapon profile, make 2 hit rolls instead of 1. Super. How does that compare to a Paragon Warblade? Well, it's not as strong, the armor penetration isn't as good, and the damage isn't as good. But you are able to make 2 additional hit rolls. So, you know, 7 attacks. Lunging strike. This is where it's at. So the strength is +3, so that's strength 8, AP -3, damage 3. And each time an attack is made with this weapon, on an unmodified wound roll of a 6, the target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to any other damage. So that's fantastic. That's great. So wounds on a 6, you're getting more mortal wounds there. You can go for the 10 attacks with the sleeping blow. I want to call it sleeping blow after talking about the line, but it's a sweeping blow. Or you can go for just your 5, I say just your 5 attacks at a nice AP -3, damage 3. So very strong ballistic skill, weapon skill, movement, strength, toughness, wounds, attacks, save. We'll get onto the save in a moment because this just gets better. Her abilities, she has Axe of Faith, Sacred Rites and Shield of Faith. Purgator Mirabilis Warsuit. This model has a 4+ invulnerable save. It gets better. Each time this model would lose a wound as the result of a mortal wound, you roll 1d6. On a 4+, that wound is not lost. That's brilliant. So if you fail your invulnerable save pretty much, so anything that's targeting her that will cause a mortal wound, it's got a 50-50 chance of the wound not being lost. And that's each time. Holy Aegis. Each time an attack is allocated to this model, half the damage characteristic of that attack, rounding up. Brilliant. Righteous Repugnance. Once per battle at the end of the fight phase, if this model is within engagement range of any enemy units, it can fight again. That's once per battle. Very nice though. High Lord of the Imperium. If your army is Battleforged, this model must be your army's warlord. If more than one model in your army has a rule to this effect, then one of these models must be your army's warlord. Abbas Sanctorum Aura. While a friendly Adeptus Sororitas core unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, re-roll a hit roll of 1 and re-roll a wound roll of 1. Very nice. Commander of the Adeptus Sororitas. In your command phase, select one friendly Adeptus Sororitas core or Adeptus Sororitas character unit within 6 inches of this model. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit roll and you can re-roll the wound roll. Very nice. And explodes. When this model is destroyed, roll 1d6 before removing it from play. On a 6 it explodes, and each unit within 6 inches suffers 1 mortal wound. Keywords: Imperium, Adeptus Ministorum, Adeptus Sororitas, Vehicle, Character, Sanctified, Supreme Commander, Abbess, Paragon Warsuit, Morvenn Vahl. So there you go, very, very strong unit. Yes, she's, 265 points. Yes, she's a power points cost of a 13, which is the same points cost as a whole unit of Paragon Warsuits, slightly more than Triumph of St. Catherine, and she's more points than, say, the Exorcist or the Castigator tank, making her the most expensive unit in the book. She does bring a lot to the table. She really does. If you don't forget all her abilities and things, she can go toe to toe with some of the meanest things, and especially if you're giving her a group of Paragon Warsuits as well to accompany her, then she's going to cause a lot of damage. The only downside really is getting her into combat. Sisters of Battle don't have anything to take these warsuits into battle any quicker than their movement of 8 inches. So if you're going up against these, just shoot at them from a very long range, and hopefully you'll be able to get past that, toughness 5, the invulnerable saves, and the 8 wounds. Because if she does get into close combat, she's going to be able to wreck face, and being able to ignore the mortal wounds, halving the damage, re-rolling hits and wounds, and being able to fight again if she so chooses to. What do you guys think of Morvenn Vahl, the High Lord of Terror that doesn't like a desk job? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you as always. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.